Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Pennsylvania. And today our question comes to us from Chris Aldridge. And Chris asks whether I believe it is possible to perform a pagan ceremony that will bring your deceased ancestors closer to you, even though they were not pagan, and why or why not. And my answer to this is rather complex because interacting with one's ancestors is a broad subject. But I definitely believe that everyone can interact with their ancestors. The first thing I would say is I don't really think it's a matter of a ceremony so much as a process. When we speak with our ancestors, it is our business to speak to them first and they will answer. We must build the relationship with them so that they may speak to us. And we do this by honoring them, by making offerings to them, by talking to them on a regular basis, and by sitting for their response and learning how to receive it. And you receive it basically by opening your mind and your heart and learning not to judge what you get. And it's a more complex process than just those words, but within the context of a vlog, that's the basic description of what you do. And you do this on a regular basis, ideally every day, and you will find that you will build that relationship and they will speak to you just as you speak to them. Now, of course, sometimes they will speak to you even if you don't speak to them because they have something to say. But generally there is the process of building the relationship. And of course there are many ceremonies that can be performed for the ancestors, starting with a ceremony of crossing over to help them make a successful crossing into the spirit world, and ceremonies that honor them particularly, and these also help to build that relationship. But every attempt to build that relationship will help. Now, what if they weren't pagan? Well, in my experience, that really doesn't matter so much. Religion is more a function of this world. When you're in the spirit world, you see what's there. And in my experience, most ancestors are quite happy to talk to their descendants, even though their descendants may be quite different. And I would say, by all means, talk to them and find out. You have to remember that when you're speaking to your ancestors, you're not talking to their conscious mind as they were when they were living, but with their higher self, with their soul, if you would. And it tends to have a broader outlook. I've often heard it said that if Uncle Ernie was a drunk in his lifetime, that talking to him as an ancestor isn't going to really do you any good because he'll still be just drunk Uncle Ernie. But actually that's not been my experience. The part of Uncle Ernie that was drunk Uncle Ernie usually doesn't really translate to the spirit. When you speak to the spirit, it's the higher self, and you may find that there was a lot more to that person than they were able to express in that lifetime. So I would say even if you didn't get along with a particular ancestor, or if their life was not especially wonderful, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you're going to encounter in dealing with them as an ancestor. For want of a better way to put it, you'll find an expanded version of the person. So I hope that gives you something to think about. And as to the second part of the question, why or why not do I believe this? Well, it's something we do. I believe it out of personal experience. I do a great deal of speaking to the ancestors, my own ancestors and other people's ancestors, and that's where I base my opinion on my experience. So, I hope that answers your question, and until next time, may you blessed be. Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Chicago. And did you know that I have been a professional psychic for more than 30 years? I offer a variety of specialties, including clairvoyance, tarot, and past lives, either in person, or by phone, or even by email. So if you'd like to have a reading with me, you can set one up at witchschoolstore.com. I hope to hear from you, and until next time, may you blessed be.